want to talk with you about why is single-mindedness so important for your success. Most people haven't even heard about it, or say single-mindedness, is that the same as self-centered or just thinking about me, just having one goal? No, it's actually not. This is the part where we bring science and faith together, as well as I'm going to tell you a little bit about your brain, which I think you want to hear. We all want to manifest our desires, right? We all have goals, we have dreams, and we want to accomplish them. And we believe once we accomplish them, we are going to be happy. We all have our desires and dreams that we want to accomplish, right? We read books like The Secret, we do affirmations, we read other books that help us to accomplish our goals, we set goals, we have accountability. All of those things that are great and that are in support of accomplishing our goal. But unfortunately, in most cases, or pretty much in 99.9% cases, people underestimate the power of your emotions. And I'm going to explain to you why, so stick with me. I'm going to explain to you why your brain is actually important and your emotions and how that plays together. You've probably heard me say a couple times, if you can't get there emotionally, you will never get there physically. Because emotionally, we can sabotage ourselves. Physically, yes, we can too, but more likely, if you say you're going to wash the dishes, you will wash the dishes. But if your mind has the crazy story about washing dishes is disgusting and you start to get angry, you may not do it. So our emotions really do influence our physical being, our actions. Also, you create your own reality. And I'm sure most of you have heard this as well. And I'm going to explain you why. Your subconscious mind creates your reality of life with what you feel and your thoughts. Again, your subconscious mind creates your reality with what you feel and your thoughts. It's not your conscious mind that actually creates your reality. It is your subconscious mind. And your own self-created feelings and thoughts create your circumstances that bring your life to you. And that goes for the individual as well as for the collective. We as an individual operate on a specific vibration and frequency, but as us as a collective as well. So if we are as a collective are not in alignment with our individual vibration that creates the overall vibration, we will always have chaos. That's why it's important. It is important for the individual as well as for the collective. So let's talk about your brain. Your left brain hemisphere is the part that controls your thinking, your logical thinking, your analyzing part. Like it's more of the doing side of it. Okay. And your right brain hemisphere is all about your emotions, your feelings, your subconscious mind. And then again, your subconscious mind is connected to your heart, and your heart is literally your second brain. It is created in a similar way as your brain. That's why people who have a now I don't know the word, the fake heart, whatever. They seriously, I'm having a total brain fart. When you have a fake heart, then you cannot survive for very long, because again, your whole body doesn't work together. Your heart, your actual heart, is your second brain. So we often think about what we desire, okay? But unknowingly, often what we don't recognize about ourselves, so unknowingly, in most cases, we feel in our heart that we are not worthy of our desires, that we are not supposed to receive our desires. So your feelings in that moment will always win. Your feelings will always win. So what you think doesn't matter. What you feel matters. So whatever your left brain is doing is actually getting you into action, but what your right brain hemisphere is doing is what allows you to really create your desires. And so what happens when both sides of your brain hemisphere disagree with each other, you create a raging war inside of you. And yesterday I found my son's little animal, so I explained it a little bit different. So now I kind of like don't have this effect, but I'm still going to try to explain it to you. So this is your mind, this is your brain, and the little cow is your heart, and they are connected with each other. Your heart is telling your mind what it's supposed to do. Your feelings are telling your brain what it's supposed to think and then act on. So if both are going in a different direction, there's always going to be something going on. Like there's always struggle. And for us to actually get into the direction of our desires, we have to have both in alignment to go where we want to go. So remember, if you don't remember anything of this talk, just remember the mouse and the cow, the mind and the heart, and they have a struggle going on most of the time. So that's toys from my son. I found them yesterday, and I was like, well, that's actually a really good example. So I'm going to do that. Organ transplant. Yeah. That's something. Yeah, that's why when you have organ transplant, when you transplant someone's heart, automatically your vibration changes too, because again, it's the second brain of someone else. Makes sense, right? So there are actually many references about your mind and your heart from the Bible. Brian's in Proverbs 23, verse 7, I think. But there are also more where it talks about in the Bible about your heart and your mind in Genesis, and Matthew 9, in Acts 8, I think. There it talks about your heart and your mind as well. And so you can tell that what science knows, actually the Bible already told us many, many years ago. So you can put both together. Science and faith really does make sense together, even though a lot of people argue that. So if your emotions don't reflect your way of thinking, your emotions are not in alignment with the way you think. If your emotions don't reflect your thinking in unison, if they're not on the same page, then you need to change your emotional world, meaning your beliefs and your feelings, so they come together, so it becomes, so that it's all in alignment, pretty much, okay? So we need to clear the stream of energy. Everything is energy, everything is energy. So if you have both in alignment, you send out the same stream of energy. You're sending out the same vibration. And that's when everything on the outside responds to us. If there are different signals coming from you, from your thinking and your emotions, there's confusion. And literally everything on the outside, if it's people or if it's just really anything, it's hard to find that vibration, what you are responding to. But again, your emotions are so much stronger. They have a much higher vibration than your thoughts, that your emotions will always win, okay? Your heart, again, as I said, is your second brain. The prayer of the heart, remember that, the prayer of the heart, your emotional relationship to your desires, is always answered. The prayer of your heart, your relationship to your emotions, is always answered. Now that will make it has a much different impact on what we need to understand about how our heart and our brain works. The prayer of your heart will always be answered. Your heart is the place that is connected to your subconscious mind, responding to your emotions. Yeah, we can't ignore our emotions not working. And that is when both your mind and your heart, your thoughts and your feelings, when they are on the same page, when they are moving in the right direction, when they are in unison, then that's when we're talking about single-minded. And there's something that the Bible talks about that too, and I'm sure some of you know who listen. In James 1 verse 8, it says that a double-minded man is unstable in all its ways, or all his ways. A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. So we have to become single-minded to accomplish our desires. See how faith and science again come together and how it does make sense? And for those who don't see results in their desires, accomplishing their desires, and because whatever, like if you don't see the results of your goals, it is because your emotions, again, and your thoughts are not together. It's exactly that. So single-mindedness, you don't only think, okay, single-mindedness, listen to that. You don't only think that God will answer your prayers, but you feel that God will answer your prayers. If you think that God will answer your prayers, but you don't actually believe it, nothing will happen because you're double-minded. But if you're single-minded, you think and you feel that God will answer your prayers. Pretty awesome, isn't it? And that's where I talk about it too in my book, The Power of Faith-Driven Success, where I bring both more together and help you understand to more about who you are, how it works together, how your heart and your brain work together, what an influence that has on you as an individual, as well as our collective world society. So that's really important. What else? To achieve the state of being, we have to own our lower vibrating energies, our lower vibrating feelings. I don't like to use the words negative and positive emotions. I still use them sometimes, but I try not to, because there are no positive and negative emotions. Emotions are just that. They're neutral. It is our relationship that we have created to emotions that make a difference. And some of them are on a little bit of a higher vibration, other ones on a lower vibration. And it depends on us and our relationship to them to raise the vibration to feel differently. So I don't say positive or negative emotions. I'm saying a lower vibrating feeling. And your thoughts, if you can, again, now I've lost my thought by explaining that one. If to achieve the state of being, again, I said that, to achieve this state of being, we have to own, that was the word, own our low vibrating feelings and our thoughts without blaming us, without blaming anyone else. They were just there. Like, we have to own them, and we have to understand the message that lies behind every single emotion. Fear isn't worse than happiness. Sadness is not any worse than joy. They're just there to give you a message, and I teach more about that too, and I talk about that topic in more detail when I do speak. So if we can't understand our emotional world, we can't and aren't true to ourselves. If we can't understand our emotional world, we are not true and can't be true to ourselves and really understanding our core. Again, we talk about God within. It is our core, the emotional world, our right brain hemisphere, our subconscious mind. It's all connected, guys. And so when you are aware of your own emotions, you are more likely to successfully communicate with others in a more, let's say, in a more positive way. If we are aware of our emotional world, we're able to communicate differently with other people, again, more on a positive way. Oh, that's what I wanted to mention. Yesterday, I posted something from one of my dear friends. She said, "I may push your buttons, but I didn't put them there." And that is part of your emotional world. If there's anything emotionally coming up that you're not aware of, other people can push your buttons, and then you're responding to it. But if we are aware of our emotional world, then we're not just reacting, we can actually respond. Not reacting, but respond appropriately so that it does create more community and a deeper understanding. So for us to become single-minded, you have to get rid of your garbage that keeps you stuck in order to tap into the real you. And some of that garbage that I'm talking about is trapped emotions. Some of emotions that we never dealt with, events, people, anything that was in the past that we have never dealt with, can get trapped in your system. Again, every single cell of your body is energy. And so are emotions, so are your thoughts, so is what everyone else is throwing at you. It's all energy. And let me tell you, when I do emotions clearing session, it is incredible what shows up for people. And when they get rid of it, what happens? I can't, due to confidentiality, say a whole lot of stories and add the names to it, but some I can tell. And there are people that suddenly get rid of physical pain. Some said, I haven't had any hip pain in months, in weeks, after I did the emotions clearing. I haven't had any neck pain in a while. My creativity is back on 100%. I can finally understand in what direction I want to go to. And others feel like suddenly there is a pressure lifted off of their chest. They can breathe. Others feel like they finally able to hear their voice. They can actually respond to their heart and bring it out there. And there's just so many different things that are happening, and that is the garbage that I'm talking about that keeps us to fully understanding our emotional world. And we're so focused on our thinking that we don't realize that we're double-minded. I already told you, James 1 verse 8, a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. Even the Bible tells us that. And if you don't believe in the Bible, doesn't matter. Science still tells us that too. So you can't separate the both. It's just not working. So we need to get rid of the garbage that's really in the way, that's stuck. Here's something that I can tell you. What happens? Like in a natural, whole and perfect way, our body is created to flow freely. All our emotions, all the energies are supposed to flow freely. What happens over time when we are not taught to express our feelings openly, or we take on other people's stuff, like with empath, it's quite intense. We take it on, and then within that flow, with that natural flow, we create a wall. It's like a dam. And the energy is still flowing, but it's trying to flow around it, to flow above it, and underneath it, and it always will hurt something or someone. And so we need to remove that wall for the natural flow to get back to where it's supposed to be. And that's how it helps us. And the really fun thing is I have this amazing gift of healing, and I have no idea. I'm always sitting here, I was like, okay, God, I don't know what you want me to do with that, but this is crazy. Like, it's not me. It's not me. I'm just the messenger. I'm able to see colors around people, and I know what I can do with that. It's incredible. And sometimes I'm like, okay, God, thank you, but this is quite a responsibility that I may not really want. Well, God doesn't ask what I want. He says, this is what you're going to do. And I prepare you. And so I go. But really, when we remove this emotion, it's incredible how things change. Again, suddenly people find their voices, physical healing, emotional healing. A lot of people have seen reductions in anxiety and panic attacks. Depression is often related to trapped emotions. Again, everything is emotion, and you've seen it on my wall. Over 90% of illnesses are related back to trapped emotions, and that's scientifically now. If you look up a couple of I have a book somewhere, I forgot, but some of the doctors and the holistic psychologists, they talk about that over and over and more, how important it is. So if you have that garbage to become single-minded and not double-minded, even the Bible warns you about it, to become single-minded, you have to bring your emotional world in alignment with your thoughts, or your thoughts in alignment with your emotional world. That is when you become single-minded, and this is how you create success. One thing that I started doing, and I think I've talked about it before, I started doing emotional meditation, or emotions meditation, meaning I set an intention before I meditate, like something that I want to create, or something where I don't know which way to go. But instead of asking how and why, I am envisioning the emotion that I will feel when I have this accomplished. And so I take a look at where I feel it in my body. Usually it's either my gut or my heart or my chest in general, like I get all excited, and I hold on to this emotion, and then I meditate on it. And the more you can hold onto this emotion, the more the vibrations around you are adjusting to your emotion, to your vibration. That's why, again, you create your own reality. Your subconscious mind is responding to your emotional world, which again goes back to the vibration. I'm not going to say that all over again because you can listen to the replay. But this is really interesting. And so if you have watched before, or if you watched the whole time, if there's one thing Like, I'm not even saying, by the way, I'm not saying that you need to work with me. There are a lot of healers. And if you don't feel led to working with me, that's perfectly fine. But here's one thing. I'm not going to let you get away not taking responsibility for your own emotional world. If you have someone else that you want to work with, please do so. But at some point, we all need to get rid of the garbage to make a bigger impact in the world. As I said, the single-mindedness is as much important as an individual as well as in the collective. As a collective, we have a specific vibration and frequency that we need to acknowledge. And so as an individual, we have the responsibility to bring the collective to the point of single-mindedness. And we can only accomplish that by getting rid of our own garbage. So if you have someone that you want to work with rather than me, please do so. I actually even would carry you there if I have to, as long as you actually do it. This is how important it is. One example, I looked at my money relationship because I was like, I don't know, I don't get the money in that I want, and my business is going really well. I'm not saying that, but still, you always want to get a little bit more and have better impact or more impact. And so I released some of the emotions that were related to my money relationship. Within 2 days, I signed up 3 new clients. And the last thing happened last week. I'm telling you, it really does work. It really does work. It really does. So again, if you don't remember anything else than this, remember the mouse and the cow. The heart and your brain. They're connected energetically, physically, through meridians. Like, they're all connected, both of them. And if they pull in different directions, it will hurt. You're going to start a war inside of you, and you will never really be able to move forward. You will always find yourself in that same vicious cycle. But if you bring your brain and your heart, your thinking and your emotions on the same page, they can actually move forward together. Isn't that cool? Like what you can do with toys? So I hope that stuck. Now I'm going to take it back to Jonah's playroom. But if that stuck, then my work is done for today. Let me know, guys, if you have any questions, if you want to know more. I'm here. You can reach me through private message. You can reach me through email, isabel@faithdrivensuccess.com. Ask me. I'll give you an answer. If I don't know the answer, I will ask someone else who I know could know the answer.